Good, good morning, y'all. I have a testimony that I just have to share. And whoever needs to hear it, I believe that the Lord will present it to the right ears. I'm literally shaking because it literally just happened. I just woke up. I'm still puffy, but I just had to share it with somebody. God just paid my rent for the month of July. It's the 18th of July. And I didn't know how I was going to do it this month. I really didn't. I get paid every 2 weeks from my job, and there was 1 week where I was sick. And I missed a couple of days at work, and I knew I was gonna have a low paycheck. I knew I was going to. I applied for 2 different loans, and I got rejected for both. But I kept on praying and praying and praying some more and asking God. My apartment called me, asking me when am I gonna pay, and I told them I'm gonna pay this Saturday, not knowing where the money was gonna come from. Matter of fact, when they called me, I was confident because I'm like, I'm gonna get approved for that loan. I'm gonna get approved. But I didn't. I applied for 2 of them. I got denied for both. And I was in prayer last night. It was the 17th, last night. And I knew I was gonna get paid because I get paid every other Saturday. And I was literally just sitting there. And I told God, I'm like, Lord, I need a Hail Mary. I don't know what to do. I know my account, it's not gonna, I know I'm not gonna have the money, Lord. I know you still perform miracles, and I need a miracle because I ain't got it. I don't have it. Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm just looking, staring at that balance, and I just clicked it. I haven't even gotten paid yet. I just clicked it, and the little circle was going around and around and around and around and around. And of course it didn't go through because I don't have money. And while in prayer, this time it was around like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I got a message from PNC that if you have PNC, you'll know that I'm out of like that red zone, which is under the threshold balance. So that means I got paid. And of course, it wasn't the amount that it was supposed to be. At least it was not enough for rent. It was not even close enough for rent. And so, oh my goodness. And so I went on my portal again to pay. I just went on it again, and I clicked the button, and it literally told me, you've tried before, are you sure you want to try again? Because it did not go through the first time. I looked at it and I said, no, I know I don't have it. And then I just went home on my little portal to pay rent. I went home, and for some reason the balance said 0. I said, what? It says 0, but it says pending approval on top. And I said, okay, 2 things will happen. It's either PNC is going to deny it, deny the charges because I don't have enough in my account, or PNC is going to accept it, and I will have like a huge negative balance that I will have to, it'll just be weighing on my shoulder. Huge negative balance. And I went back on the website and it's still saying 0. And I got an email from Built Rewards, because that's who we pay rent towards through Built, and it says thank you for your payment. And I'm like, what payment? What? I don't know what payment. And then there's no money that got out of my account. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna finish my prayer and go to sleep. I'm not gonna think about it. Just go to sleep. So I finished praying and I went to sleep, still feeling so anxious because I'm like, I don't have any money. 2 things will happen. PNC will approve the charges and I will have a huge negative balance, or PNC will deny the charges. PNC will deny the charges and basically the money will bounce back. I went to sleep. I woke up this morning and it says pending approval and you have no more outstanding balance. And I said, okay, then the money in my account should be gone. It's still there. Who paid them? This apartment was a miracle in itself, and I don't know why I'm still shocked. I just never had this type of miracle. Like, oh my God. I don't know who paid them. Well, let me stop saying that. Literally, God paid my rent. Because now I have money for groceries because my fridge is empty. And now I have the funds to go to Florida and to celebrate my sister's graduation because I didn't know how I was gonna do it. Hold on. I had to get myself together. To all the single moms out there, God will provide, I promise. You just gotta stay in His will. I really do my best to try and stay in my word and pray to God and lean on Jesus, because it's hard out here doing everything on your own. It's hard. It's so hard. But when you delight in the Lord, oh my God, I really do my best to stay away from sin, to stay away from anything that's not like God. Thank you, Lord. So if this is your sign to get to know Jesus, please do. He will really take care of you. I promise He will take care of you. He loves you. Anyway, I'm gonna get myself together. Have a good day.
So when I was in 8th grade, my dad went to prison and we were struggling financially. Our car got repoed, the electricity was cut off, the water was cut off, and it was just a really hard time. And during this season, one day, my mom goes to work and a customer comes in. Now, normally my mom doesn't really show emotion. She's a very strong woman and she doesn't show pain to people. But this customer could tell that something was wrong. So she asked my mom. And my mom would normally say, you know, nothing's wrong. There's no big deal. Don't even worry about it. I'm completely fine. But this day in particular, my mom just said, you know what, to be honest, I'm having a really, really hard time right now. And so the customer leaves after about 20 minutes. And an hour later, she texts my mom and says, hey, come outside. I have something for you. My mom goes outside into her car, and this customer gives her an envelope. And it's this really thick envelope. And my mom is like, what is happening? And this customer says, God told me to give this to you. So my mom is like, what the heck is happening? She takes this envelope and she goes to the back of her store and she opens it up. It is $7,000 in cash. And so my mom is like, what is going on? She calls the customer back and is like, hey, this must be some sort of mistake. This is so much money. And the customer says, hey, this is a gift from God. And that means that you do not pay it back. And that $7,000 was enough for us to get a beat up old car, to get through that season and to pay all the bills. And yeah, it was hard, but God always provides. I have been through many financial problems in my life, but God has never, ever forsaken me. And I promise you that He will not forsake you. He will always provide for you.
Hey, I want to share a story with you that will encourage you on your journey. I know that there's probably some of you that are following the Lord and your life is just looking crazy. It doesn't seem to make sense. Your finances are worse than they've ever been. Maybe you closed the business down. Maybe you lost a job. And the only thing you can think is, I'm following the Lord. I'm doing what He said, but it doesn't seem to be working. Well, if you haven't figured it out, He's changing you on the inside. And the only way He can do this, He's got to remove everything off of you and out of you that you identify with that's not your true identity. It's not the image of Christ. And in so doing, He wants to prove Himself to you. He wants to prove that He is real. He knows exactly where you're at, and He's got plans, and He's going to make a way. And I remember when this started for me, I remember in 2013, after my life really was starting to fall apart, and it made no sense. But I really felt in my spirit that God was saying to shut my business down. And I had no other source of income. My wife didn't work, and we had a 2-year-old, and we had just had our second child born. But man, it was so vivid and so real the way He spoke to me that I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I stopped taking on jobs. I was a general contractor, did home renovations. And, that's kind of cute. Oh, don't work. I'm going to provide for you. But I had never experienced God really provide for me then. And after a couple of days when the bank account started to get drained, I was like, what, Lord, if this is really you, I need a sign. Because it was fun to think you were going to provide for me when my bank account was full. But now that I'm out of money, it's not fun anymore. This is really challenging. And I remember I was driving back to my house, and I said, Lord, I need a sign. And the sign I was asking for was, I need to know He was going to show Himself to me. But in my heart, I needed to know there was going to be unexpected money, that He was going to send funds from ways that weren't in my control. So I knew that He was taking care of me. And literally 3 minutes after I said, God, I need a sign, I pull in my driveway and I go to my mailbox and I grab my mail. And I'm sorting through the envelopes. And I find a check for $1,600. Now, that's not a lot maybe for me today or you today in 2025. But in 2013, when I was used to making, $1,000 a week, $1,500 was a really big deal. $1,600 was a big deal. This was a refund check 2.5 years late. It was from a hospital refunding money from when my first child was born 2.5 years earlier. What are the chances that a $1,600 refund check makes it to my house 2.5 years late, minutes after I prayed, God, I need a sign? You see, God will take care of you. And it wasn't just a sign. It was a sign, but He continued to provide for us. And in that season of time, we had people just showing up out of the blue with food, with money. I'd show up at a Bible study and I had people giving me $100 bills and $50 bills and saying, I don't know what's going on with you, but on my way over here, the Lord wanted me to get some cash out of the ATM and give it to you. I had people coming by my house and giving me their tithe checks. I didn't ask for any of it. I really was quiet because I wanted to know that God was really doing this and I wasn't just, manipulating people for money. And so no one really knew how desperate my financial situation was, but He continued to send the money. And it was manna. You know, it wasn't a feast. It wasn't abundance. It wasn't my promised land. But it was just enough to continue to get me by. And there were some dark days where it felt like the manna was less than others. You know, I had the water turned off. We had the electricity turned off temporarily. But he continued to provide as he made a way for me to get through the wilderness. And your wilderness isn't a place for you to stay. So I don't want you to think that you're going to be there forever. I want you to know it's a temporary place. It's transitory. It's where you are becoming the you that you need to become to walk into your promised land, to bring heaven to earth, to take dominion for his kingdom, and to bear the image of Christ. I'll tell you one other story. So a couple of years later, we weren't completely out of the wilderness, and I had been working again as a general contractor. I was doing a small home renovation project, and I had one client, one paying client, and it paid $1,000 a week, just enough to pay the bills. And every Thursday I went to Miss Clark's house with my invoice, and every Thursday she brought a check. That was our rhythm. We had been doing this for weeks. And I show up one day, and man, I needed her $1,000 because she was my only paying client at the time. And I show up with my invoice for my $1,000 invoice, and she said, I can't pay you. And I was like, oh boy, because I don't have anybody else paying me. But I didn't tell her that's a big problem. See, I'd learned over time that God was always going to take care of me. And so when she said I couldn't pay you, I said, no problem. It'll be okay. She said, I got to talk to my bank. Hopefully I can pay you next week. So I leave there, and I was meeting a friend for lunch who had asked me a little bit earlier in the week, hey, when you come to town, I want to get lunch with you. And so I'm driving over there, and I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, who am I going to have to call to tell them that I can't pay these bills this week because my only paying client said that she can't pay me. And so a couple of minutes later, I get in the parking lot. I put my car in park. I get out of the car, and I see my friend across the parking lot. And he's walking up to me with tears in his eyes. And he had an envelope in his hand. And he looked almost like he was going to vomit if I didn't take it from him. He said, you got to take this. I said, what are you talking about? And in the envelope was a check for $2,000. See, God had put it on his heart to send me $2,000. He had no idea on Monday when he asked me to go to lunch on Thursday that I would have just come from a meeting from a lady who was going to refuse to pay my invoice and that I didn't have any other income. All I knew was God said, take out $2,000 and give it to your friend. And so when my way of paying for myself failed, God's way was a double portion. Because he'll take care of you. You really don't have to worry about that. He knows where you live. He knows your phone number. He knows your needs, and he knows your bills better than you do. And there is more money with your name on it than you had ever considered. And God is good. And he will get you there. And it won't be manna forever, because trust me, ahead is the promised land. They've built cities with your name on it. They've planted vineyards with your name on it. And it's an abundant place. You know, I was lucky to make 50 grand that year, and now I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's a whole lot easier than it ever used to. But he had to change me on the inside before he could ever change my outside. And my guess is, if you're still watching this video, that you're hoping and believing that God is doing something special in your life, and he is. He absolutely is. You just keep saying yes, no matter what he says. No matter what job you have to quit, no matter what job you have to take, no matter where you have to give. If he wants you to do it, you do it, because it will lead to your good, and it will lead to so much better than you ever had planned. God bless you.